The news broke this morning, an exclusive from David Ornstein, that Manchester United sack Ruben Amorim as the head coach. 40-year-old Portuguese informed of the decision and goes with immediate effect after 14 months following the breakdown in relations. Darren Fletcher is expected to take over as the Man United interim boss. Ben Jacobs also stating here that Ruben Amorim has been sacked by Man United following his outburst of the 1-1 draw with Leeds. Darren Fletcher will take interim charge. As revealed last night, tension over a lack of alignment in the market and a breakdown between Amorim and Jason Wilcock. So a sacking that isn't directly connected to the results, but I do think the results played a part, and I will explain why this morning. But not being backed in the window, I called this on the United Stand, 8 p.m. show on Friday. And a lot of people didn't listen because they hear the word "he must go" and they think, what do you mean? What do you mean? Their brain stopped working. You could tell by, listen, the system hasn't been working. The results have been awful. So many games that we should have won that we didn't. Bad substitutions, poor in-game management. I don't think Amorim has deserved to keep his job. That being said, what then happened at the weekend was a different kettle of fish, was a different scenario. He has not been backed, and he feels that the money that we put forward for Semenyo should have then been invested into another department on the football pitch. Ineos have decided not to do that. That's Wilcock, that's Barada, that's the gym, that's the whole caboodle. We're going to get into whether that's right or wrong. We're going to get into your views and your opinions on this. But the fallout from that has led to Ruben Amorim being sacked as the Manchester United manager. Some will say it's too soon. Some will say he's being thrown under a bus. Others may sit there and think this has come too late. And maybe after the final in Bilbao, maybe after losing to Everton, could it have been after the Grimsby game? Because let us not pretend that the results and the performances have not been shambolic by and large. Darren Fletcher in as an interim as well. David Ornstein stating that United may not appoint a new full-time head coach until the summer of 2026. Loads to go through today, loads to discuss. We're going to be taking your calls on the show as well, going through your comments. Please make sure, if you haven't done so already, that you're liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you're watching over on X, please come and join us here on YouTube. The link is in the post. So it's great if you're watching on X, share it, comment, but come and join the community right now, live on the Football Terrace. Because what a whirlwind of a morning. Genuinely, what a whirlwind. My biggest hope right now also is that my internet holds up. My entire area went down yesterday where I live. So I'm hoping they've fixed it and it stays up today. First super chat of the day here actually says, Terry, do you still believe in Ineos, Terry? This is 100% Ineos, not Glazers. And you said you want them to stop chopping and changing. Wonder how you are going to spin this. Well, there is no spin from me, because if you watch enough of my shows, you've said since... What did I say after the Grimsby defeat? What were my famous words that went massively viral across the internet? I said, sack Ruben Amorim, but I have no faith in the next manager. And I have very regularly stated my faith in Ineos has been diminishing due to poor decisions that they have made. Now, I haven't said that I'm against chopping and changing managers. What I have said, I'm against changing direction. Now, also remember that I don't think formation dictates direction. What I mean by this is, if we employ a manager who goes, you know what, Mainu's not for me. Do you know what? I'm not really a fan of Aiden Heaven. Yeah, Lemaine's not the kind of keeper I want. Mbumo, not my type of winger. Cunha, not for me. Oh, can I have Rashford back, please? That, for me, is the chopping and changing that I referred to. And I've been very clear and very specific in that. Very clear, very specific, very direct, and absolutely right. If we change direction in that way, any last glimmer of hope this is, that I have in Ineos turning the club round, will be vanquished. It means all the scouting, it means all of the recruitment in the last 12 months, in the last 2 years under Ineos, would be a waste. I have said that if you are going in the same direction, you can dismiss managers and they become a bit of a plug and play solution. You need to find the right one. So let's not twist my words. Let's not twist things that I have said. But from my point of view, is this 100% on the Glazers? No. Ineos? No. The manager has also played a part in this as well. And let's be very frank about this. Let's be very honest about this, because I see a lot of people today saying, it's nothing to do with results. It's only to do with the outburst. And I think this is a very basic way to review this situation. And I'll tell you as to why. Had we have beaten Everton, beaten West Ham, beaten Wolves at home, seen that game off against Bournemouth, just those 4 games alone, we should have won all those matches. No one is convincing me otherwise. That is 2, 4, 6, 9 more points. If you had 9 more points, okay, you add those 4 wins to Manchester United's season and you give us those extra points, you suddenly look at that league table and it reads very different. It doesn't read bad where we are, but suddenly we're sitting on 40 points. Suddenly we're not quite in the title race, but we're in a very comfortable Champions League position. That then means there's more support for Ruben Amorim for not being backed, and it gives Ruben Amorim more of a leg to stand on when calling out the ownership. So for me, this is a combination of 2 things. Do I think he would have been sacked based on results had he not had that outburst? No. But do I think the outburst would have got him sacked if over the last 12 months he'd have won more games? If we weren't sitting in the 30% of win ratio and he was winning 60, 70% of his games, do you think him and the board would have even got to a point where they fell out? The answer is no, because there's also other stories that I'm not going to suddenly ignore that came out just a week ago, that the board are getting frustrated at the lack of adaptation, that they're having meetings and telling him your formation is leading to holes in the team that are leading to us not finishing off games. And he's reluctant to discuss and have that change. We know the club and him both spoke about having that change multiple times in the last 12 months. So for me, look, it's absolutely right that Ruben Amorim goes. That doesn't mean, though, that we should not be putting pressure on Ineos. That doesn't mean they haven't royally messed up. That doesn't mean they've done an awful job of trying to fix us in the last 18 months to 2 years. And we'll be talking about that on this show as well today. The whole thing is being reviewed. This is not going to be a manager in, manager out conversation. If you are delusional enough, if you are silly enough to think just sacking Ruben Amorim and appointing a better coach will fix Man United, and let me define fix for you. Brilliant on the pitch, hard to beat, title challenging, consistently good. That is what I'd consider a fix Man United. A manager won't fix it alone. An elite squad with high physical and exceedingly high technical floor, is essential. Player power must be reduced further, because I'm telling you now, I've got a horrible feeling on Wednesday some injured players will be fit again. Strong and consistent backing from the board is needed. How you do that is by reducing the club's debt, so there's always money available. Always got to have money available. If we're messing up, buy more. If we're nearly winning and you want to go over the line, buy more. If you win and you want to stay on the top, buy more. None of these things happen regularly enough at this club. So before I even think about, this manager's going to make us amazing, until I see those things happening, I'm not overly gassed about a manager. So do me one favor. Do not put me into the category with the Amorim outers who, we got what we wanted, he's gone. We're going to cook now. I'm not convinced we will, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't right for him to go. Both of those things can be right at the same time, because he hasn't done a good enough job. Ineos haven't done a good enough job. The results have been poor. And when that relationship breakdown comes in, you have to move on, because there is still a chance of us making European football this year. But I'll tell you one thing. It was impossible if the relationship between Amorim and the board has gone. We were never going to make European football. We'll finish 15th. You can't succeed in that environment. So although the big catalyst to starting the process of sacking him may not have been results directly, it would have impacted them in the long run. Let us not lose sight of that. Equally, stating that doesn't mean you're defending the ownership. Don't be so binary. Don't be so simple. Don't be so basic. Manchester United are a mess. Manchester United have huge, gargantuan problems. And I find this within the Man United fan base, and it does infuriate me, that if you are critical of the manager, if you think the manager should go, it's instantly deemed as you support Ineos. You're just backing the Glazers. Where if you condemn the ownership and you put the majority of the blame on them, you get the other group that go, they don't pick the team. They don't coach the team. You're not looking at the real problem. Heaven forbid you criticize the lack of quality in our squad. Then it's you defend, they don't even know who you're defending. They're normally the manager. And at the cold, hard center of this, at the epicenter, the facts of the matter, the ownership under the Glazers was poor. Ineos have done a woeful job. I was always going to give them time. Maybe they turn it around, but as of now, they've done a terrible job of improving us. Barring the financial element, that is certainly better. The facts don't lie. Amorim didn't do a good enough job. The squad is nowhere near the standard we require, although I do think some of the incoming players have been good. Some. Overall, we are a mess. Sacking Ruben Amorim for me is not met with celebration. Sacking Ruben Amorim, even though I think it's the right thing, doesn't make me, oh, thank God, we'll be okay now. I will not be suckered in by a new manager bounce. I will not get carried away. Told you that the whole time under Ineos. My feet are firmly on the ground, good thing or bad thing going on. And that will not change. In the cold, hard light of day, we are a mess. We are a mess. This appointment hasn't worked for multiple reasons. But let us not lose sight of the real and true problem. I am one of the only content creators in the Man United world that have been consistent on the ownership criticism, consistent on making them the biggest problem at the club. Yes, when Ineos came in, I said I was going to give them time. If Ineos and the Glazers sell tomorrow and we get a new ownership, I'll give them time. But when a club is failing, when a business is failing, when a school is failing, when a family is failing, it is invariably the people that run it, own it, or are in charge at the highest level. Let us not forget that. Do not forget it.